What's the biggest thing you ever got away with? Backing out of my friend's driveway when I was 17, I forgot about front end swing and hit his basketball post, damaging my car. I ignored it. My parking spot was in the street in front of my house, so the damage could not be seen from the house. A couple weeks later, my uncle came over and is like, "Hey man, I think someone hit your car." I fake shock, and insurance covers the repairs, plus I didn't get in trouble. Some buddies of mine were drunk one night and decided to let my sober friend drive us a little ways down the road to a billboard that overlooked the interstate. We climbed it, popped a squat, and watched the cars drive by. About 10 minutes later, we saw 2 state troopers pass on the interstate and assumed they didn't see us. Boy, were we wrong. Next thing I know, there's 2 cop cars pulling up behind us. We had beer with us on top the billboard and were underaged at the time, so we ripped a hole in the billboard, hid the beers inside said billboard, and climbed down. Cops never saw the beer, and instead of 5 of us getting minor in possession citations, we just got a slap on the wrist and were sent home. Yeah, my life is boring. I can honestly say that's the biggest thing I've gotten away with. During my first weeks in primary school, everyone started collecting Pokemon cards. I had some rare ones, and one of the major bullies traded cards with me. As you can guess, he ripped me off, taking all the rare stuff, leaving me complete garbage cards and Pokemon stickers. I told my teachers and parents that he stole them. He was kicked out of school soon after. That's an adult lesson right there. If you make a crooked deal, don't expect to get away without some sort of revenge plot enacted against you. Driving 3 states away for spring break, high school junior year, with my best friend. We told our parents we were camping nearby for the week instead. Thank goodness you didn't live in the era of Find My iPhone. As someone who is 18 and lives in the era of this, you don't even want to know how many times I got busted because of that damn app. Useful, but my mom abused it in some sort of way. Like hell, I drove across town with a friend and got in trouble because I didn't let her know. Thanks, Apple. After some legal trouble, I was ordered to complete 100 hours of community service. Joined the Humane Society, and they had me input all the hours of the volunteers, including my own. I only had to do about half those hours. Senior year of high school, I took English 101 102 for college credit. We had a really big group project writing some kind of research paper. One of the requirements was to interview an expert in the area, and you had to cite some of their answers in your paper. We had to provide the name, phone number, and email address of the person we emailed. For a bunch of 17-year-olds, this was tricky and no one actually wanted to do this. A bunch of people just faked them. My group pulled a Q&A from an organization's website and said that was our interview, and we put down some guy's info that we found in the About Us section. We felt okay about it. It was technically an interview in the sense it was questions and answers. We just never actually talked to the guy. Well, the teacher, who was a grade A bitch, found out most of the class had fudged this piece of the assignment. She somehow found out that one group created a new email address to pose as the person they interviewed. She gave the class a choice: admit that we cheated on this piece, and drop a letter grade on this assignment. If you didn't admit, she was going to email your contact to confirm you spoke with them. If she caught you, you would get an incomplete for the course. Well, my team decided to roll the dice, as we didn't just make stuff up. She emailed this random guy at the organization we put down as our contact, and he totally covered for us. Said he did the interview with us. Got an A on the paper. To this day, as an adult professional now, I hope I get the chance to pay that kindness forward to some lazy-ass teenagers. During high school, we had international night where there were performances in the auditorium and food supplied by the different international clubs in the cafeteria. A friend made up Asian American club and brought a whole bunch of food from home. All the money from selling food would go to the club, usually for their budget. Since this club was made up, it all went into his pockets. It was pretty smart. Also, the school administration didn't bother to follow up. In freshman year of high school, during lunch, I was standing in a crowd and blew up my water bottle cap, but the cap took a slight curve and ended up hitting the vice principal in the head. Never got caught since I was within a crowd of people. Last Black Friday, my 2 friends and I went to the local Best Buy, and 2 of us got those really cheap Toshiba 4K TVs. After we paid and went to the back to pick up TVs, they looked at our receipts and gave us the TVs. After we left, We came to the realization that we could just go back cause our receipts were never actually marked. So we wait for another friend with his car and just go back to the back with the two guys who didn't actually buy TVs. They take our receipts and check them off this time and give us our TVs. But this took forever cause our friend was taking a while, so there was only one Toshiba 4K left. They thought they made a mistake, so they gave us a Samsung 4K smart TV that was back there. Overall a good night, and we all got 4K TVs. Plus I got the special edition 3DS, which was cool. It's not massive, but I once stole a bottle of oven cleaner from my workplace. It is used in the kitchens where I work. It's a brown watery liquid stored in clear spray bottles along with other cleaning supplies. It might not sound like much, but my boss is a huge stickler for saving money on supplies, as well as giving people terrible hours to save on wages. At the time I was flat out broke and trying to clean my apartment so I could get my deposit back when I moved out. The oven was encrusted in age-old burned food, not my fault. I always used foil trays appropriately. Oven cleaner is really expensive, and I just couldn't afford it. Anyway, I waited until I was sure no one would walk in on me in the storage area, then took a bottle of oven cleaner and hid it in my bag wrapped in a scarf. I told myself I'd only use a tiny bit, and then bring it back the next day. Unfortunately, though I managed to clean my oven successfully, I realized I had used over half a bottle of cleaner in the process. The next day I waited until the boss and assistant managers had gone on their coffee break, and then while keeping an ear out I decanted a new bottle of oven cleaner into the one I used. I kept tipping them back and forth until they looked even. I realized that even then each bottle was rather depleted and not as full as they would have been unopened. I hid them behind some unused bottles and hoped for the best. 3 months later the tampered with bottles were used, and no one seemed to notice. I was relieved. I moved out of my old flat and got my deposit back. I told my mum about it later, and she said she had to do the same thing after she divorced my dad. She stole laundry powder from the hotel she worked at because she couldn't afford to buy any detergent to wash our clothes. One day her boss told her that her clothes smelled nice, and she panicked thinking that maybe they would recognize the smell as detergent from the hotel. Luckily she got away with it too. Lied my ass off during a polygraph and passed. I did one of these in school for a psych class. Only 1 girl out of 10 knew I was lying. Those things are extremely unreliable. I had to do a presentation about meth. Each student had a different drug for my health class. I completely forgot about it until the day of when my friend asked me how long my PowerPoint was. I did the whole thing in Google Slides on my phone during the class I had to present it in, and made literally everything up. One of my street names that I researched was Good Blue John. For the history of meth slide I basically condensed the plot of Breaking Bad. The whole PowerPoint was absolute bullshit that sounded kind of plausible if you didn't listen very hard. I got a 9100. In my high school biology class I was convinced that my teacher never actually looked over our tests. I had good grades in the class, so I put my theory up to the test. I started writing absolute gibberish for all the answers except the first 3 questions just to make it look legit at first glance. Got a 100 with my garbage paper. I mean, if you are a good student at some point they just expect it from you. If you had shit grades I bet they would scrutinize the paper with more care. Not graduating bachelor's the proper way and when I was supposed to. My mom is a real Nazi when it comes to grades. When I was at high school she'd force me to stay in my room and study all the freaking time. I got my own computer about 5 years after everyone I knew did. We did have a family PC way before anyone around me though. During those times I learned how fun blankly staring at a wall can be. Anyway, I go away from home to the UK to study. I barely pass each year, not because I'm stupid, well I hope I'm not, but because I'm lazy as fuck and just can't be arsed. I would always fail one module, or in the case of my final year quite a few, but I managed to fail a module I can res it remotely so I could go back home for the summer and still pass. I eventually failed my 3rd year and didn't graduate with my peers. Miraculously I landed a job that was exactly what I studied for, programming, because I was able to show some stuff I did during my free time. Instead of studying for my first year tests I learned how to build apps for Android, and some school work I did. But my parents believed I graduated normally. I designed and printed my own fake diploma with the desired results. about 25 above what I actually got, then made up a believable story on why I wasn't able to attend my own graduation. The traffic was unbelievable at that area as everyone else graduated at the same time, and I had to work, so by the time I got there I had missed it. I eventually get my ordinary degree and my mom starts pressuring me to apply for masters. The problem is I'm about 20 marks south of the desired minimum entry grades. So I pretend I apply, then I design and print my refusal letter to show my mom, stating that I'd be perfect candidate next year as I don't have enough experience right now. Thank Odin she doesn't speak English. Next year I got in though, still can't be ours to do shit though. Oh well. I haven't bought a bottle of Tabasco in years. When I'm running low, I just steal another one from Chipotle. Think about the havoc you've wreaked on their inventory counters. None probably. I'm sure they just take an empty bottle and toss it in the trash can and order more when they're low. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.